Hi and welcome to the studio. So what I'm doing today is working with the cotton, and I've picked the cotton from my cotton plants around, but every day there seems to be a lot of cotton that's coming out. There's lots of buds on there. Apparently they say the best time to pick the cotton is in the morning, and the only other thing that you've got to be concerned about, or well, to be concerned, but to know, this is all organic, so I don't use any chemicals or sprays or anything on my plants. So you are going to have bugs. That comes with the territory. You're going to have bugs anyway, but at least with this, what you'll know is that if you're a person that is allergic, to certain chemicals, you know that from start to finish that this cotton isn't sprayed with any chemicals. So if I'm creating something, that's something that I would say if somebody's going to wear it directly onto their skin, so they know. So I wear the gloves because I don't want to touch any creepy crawlies. I haven't yet found a moth which would have they obviously lay their eggs on the cotton buds in the flowers, and so I guess as it turns into what holds the cotton, you're going to find something. So all I've done, as I said, is pick this, and I found one ant and a moth, and that's it. And if you can, I've got this bit in the bag left, and I've got another bag sort of like about half this size filled with cotton that I need to get rid of the seeds. Anyway, so one of the most time-consuming part is removing the seeds, and you have to you're not removing the seeds from the cotton, you're removing the cotton from the seeds. And here's some that I've done earlier, and there's still a few strands, but I don't bother with the few strands. It's just like I just need the cotton going in there. And what I initially started doing when I first started out, before I got this, and I'll tell you about this, is, as I said, you have to push out. So I'm removing the cotton strands. Let me see if I can come in a bit. Okay, so I'm actually pushing up the seeds and removing the strands from the seeds. Where I get like a bit that just looks a bit, it looks like it's got something else on it, so it's just like, when I get those bits, I don't try and remove everything, I just take as close to it as I can, and then I remove it. But let me show you again how you would remove the cotton from the seeds, and you just push it up like that. But as you can imagine, with every head of cotton that you pick, I know it's not called head of cotton, you will find about 8 to 10 seeds. So if you're doing it this way yourself, it is a very time-consuming activity, and you can do it while sitting watching your favourite program or whatever, but this way is, for those 4 seeds, and that's what I've got left. Okay, so let me come out again and explain. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Explain how I actually do. So this is a pasta maker, and I originally got this not for this purpose, and not for making pasta. I have Fimo clay, and I saw on a channel how thought that was another bug. I saw on this channel, YouTube channel, how the lady used, she used this for the Fimo clay, and it was to make it more malleable, and because there's the soft clay and then there's the harder one, and this actually made it softer by passing it through, and then it came out into strips, and then it was, you know, because you have to knead it before you use it anyway. And then I saw another lady, and she made she had some cotton, because I was like looking for ways in which to remove the seeds, and she had the cotton and she was putting it on like I've got here this. So this is what I was going to do today, but then I thought, let me just put the cotton through and see what happens. So she was putting it on cloth, and then I don't know whether she was even going to be using the pasta maker for using pasta. I mean, if you're going to use the pasta machine I wouldn't use it for food as well. Anyway, so she put it on cloth, and it just looks really complicated. And one of the things she said was that, you know, if you're not careful, you will get, you might crush the seeds, and then you'll get the oil that comes from the seeds into the machine. So far so good. I've not managed to crush any seeds, and so I decided just to put the cotton through the machine directly. And so this is what you do. So it's got a kind of like serrated side, and it's got a smooth side for, I guess, for I don't know, this is probably for spirals, and this is probably for the flat lasagna type pasta. Anyway, so all you do is you put a little bit in there, and then you turn the handle. And what happens is it pulls the strands through. It looks a bit difficult here. I'm going to have to move everything towards the end of my table because the handle won't move. Anyway, so hold on tight, and then you just turn it, and then where you get spots where there's a bit of a clump, I just move it along and tease out the seeds, and then turn it again, and it removes the cotton from the seeds. And then you can I just push up these seeds. So this is so much easier than, and then there's one that I don't like the look of. I don't want to touch. But the cotton comes out, and then you just move the seeds. So I got this to collect the seeds. And so what I do is, as I'm turning it, just moving the seeds, and these then just easily come off. So let's just push them forward, and they come out. There's one there, and then they come out the other end. So let me show you that again. So so this is not even in this little piece, it's got 3 seeds in there. So I just arrange it neatly. The things that I am picking out is, as I say, if there's anything that looks like it could house something that I don't really want to deal with, like it could be a bug, or it's usually a moth, I will just pick it out, and that's one of the reasons why I'm wearing gloves, because I don't want to touch anything yucky. And so you just swirl it. Sometimes, see it's moving down, and then I just ease it round a bit, keep turning until you get as much of the, it's another bit I'm not fussed with, as much of the cotton off. Now, so what's happened is, with this, is that whilst you've not seen any cotton come out the other end, because what it does is it's collecting on this serrated edge and it's kind of filling up. If I turn this over, I don't know whether you can see it there, so it's filling up in this space here. So you can either pull it through, I mean this has got to be carded anyway, and I'll do that today. Or what you do is just turn it the opposite way. Oops, let me just get this back on. Turn it the opposite way. I did quite a bit before. I'm going to have to pull it through. But if I had just done one layer, and but this is okay because this is what has to happen to it anyway in terms of carding. It's just I didn't realise I'd pushed so much. I've done so much. So yeah, all we'll do is pick it out. Put it down, it's just easier that way. And then when it gets to, when it gets that you can push it the other way, then I can just reverse it and it will all come out. Let's try. See, I don't want to force it and then damage the thing. You just have to, for every line you put, it's because I did several lines. Now I much prefer having to take it from out of here than having to take the seeds out. Maybe I'll use bigger tweezers. And so it's definitely worthwhile if you're into mixed media or textiles, seeing if you can grow your own cotton. Because if you think this fibre, you can now use natural fibre, you can dye it, you can, you know, if you can get a, I've just got a little drop spindle, and if I want to turn it into yarn to use, or you can use it in other ways and in other projects. Just turn it again. Okay, so it compresses it quite a bit when you take it the other way, and you just have to lift it up because it wants to stay in the grooves. Oops. Okay, I think you need two people here. Well, you don't really need two people. It's just awkward. I guess it's just because I'm trying to let you see it as well as... Anyway, but that's the idea. So all the seeds are out. Push this forward. It's got a stand thing, so I guess, I mean, this isn't its the natural use for it, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm taking what I can out the top, and I'm going to feed this through. It's gone through a lot easier, and then it's easier to take out the other end because there's not so much that's compressed now. So what I'm going to do is show you how I'm going to bring it that way again. See, and that just gets a lot of it up. Yeah, excellent. Yep. Cool. And again, that's why you do it as and when. So let's do that again, and then I'll show you how easy. I mean, I made it look difficult because I had done quite a few lines of the cotton. Okay, so we've got all the cotton out. Okay, and the seeds. Okay, so let's go again, shall we? Now we've got less sunlight shining in. Okay, so here's the cotton that I've picked, and I'm literally just going to tease it and put it along here. Then I turn it clockwise, and it's taken off. Surprisingly, it's done it quite quickly, and I'm just going to tease off the rest of the cotton from the seeds. And as you tease it off, you turn it again, and that gets practically them all off. You're not going to get 100% of the cotton off all the seeds, and I don't worry about that. You know, there's always going to be the little strands, but you know, I think that little strand is fine. Okay, so we've got the cotton that's collected at the bottom. You can either, it's a lot easier to take off if you take it from here, okay? So it's easy to just remove now, like that. So do it as you go along. And then if you've got any bits that you think, okay, I don't like the look of that, you just put it aside. A lot of it's going to come out in the carding as well. So we're going to do it again, and we're going to feed, this time we're going to feed it through the top and remove it through the top. It's my guard dog. It's like any voice he hears, which is good actually, because then you always know. But then he sometimes, he was in my bad books today because he just killed a lizard. I saw it hanging from his mouth, and it's just like, you're not going to eat it. You're going to just, you want to play with it, but you play too rough. And now the lizard is dead. It's not going to get up, and he keeps like lifting it up and shaking it to see, like, you know, if it's going to start running and the game begins. Anyway, so, and they eat the bugs, so, cockroaches. Okay, so spread it through, and then you can get a little groove going, you know, in terms of little system going, so not letting it build up, and it doesn't take very long. I've got a little so I've got a little container under there catching all the seeds, but it doesn't matter that, you know, they're falling through. What normally happens is that so many of the, I don't get to pick the cotton in time, and then it falls, and then the seeds start to germinate. And I'm thinking of maybe utilising the cotton plant. You can use it as a like a hedge. If you don't allow it, if you keep cutting it, then it doesn't form the cotton walls. Anyway, the walls, W-H-O-R-L-S. Okay, so I collected it from the underneath before, but because I've just put one layer, it's easy. It's easy to just put it the other way, and it then all comes up. And they call that, well, they don't call this particular thing, but it's like a skein where you've carded it and then you roll it up into, I think it's called a skein, before you spin it. So these are then made into skeins, and I will put up the corrected word. If I haven't got the right word up, or the spelling of the word, I will put it up. But then once you've carded this, you will form it into a skein, which is kind of like a long thing like that you create before you then start spinning. So I'm going to finish off this bag, and as I say, I've got another bag to do, so I want to get and I've got more cotton to pick. There seems to be, I picked a bag yesterday, and then today when I looked out the window, it was just like some more came up, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't keep up. So to stay ahead of it all, I have to get these. If I get these de-seeded or ginned, this is called ginning, removing the seeds from the cotton from the seeds. So finish this bag, and then what I'll probably be doing, finish this bag and card it, and then what I'll be doing tomorrow is picking some more cotton and then doing this process again. Because of time and my schedule at the moment, I'm not able to, I'm not going to be able to, I've got some projects where I want to make something from the cotton. See, I've got a seed here that's got a hole in it. It's just like, yuck. So I just get rid of everything around it. You know, it's like there's more than enough cotton there to use, and I might as well just do that now. So, but this is part of the process. So a bit there, but it's just like, it looks like something's wrapped itself in there. But I don't want to be part of my yeah, so this is, you know, I've been so excited about the potential of using the cotton in my work. I create sculptures, and so not only to weave with it, I've got a mini weaver, and I've created a couple of looms, and I've created a couple of one larger loom and some mini ones, so that, you know, if you just feel like weaving something small, then you can. I mean, you can do it with any size, but I'm not at the level of having a big loom. And I will link one of my artist friends, Sylvester, who is one of the he's a well-known weaver on the island, and his creations are just beautiful. He just makes some really beautiful stuff, and I'd love to be able to, I think I would love to be able to use, he did a demonstration recently on using these looms, but the thing that got me was the time it takes to create, to thread it up, and it's just like, you have to really love it, you know, that's your passion. And maybe, you know, this, doing it on a small scale like this is fine for me, you know, I have no I don't have any desires to be threading one of those big looms, but you know, what I'm doing here might inspire somebody else, and it might be something that they decide they'd like to try. And you know, if that can happen, then that's fantastic. So thank you so much for watching. In the next video, what I'll be showing you is the carding of the cotton, and you know, you can always refer back. You can see refer back to the videos that I've have on the channel, which shows you the cotton growing and picking the cotton, you do have to, there is a technique which I can't say that I've mastered, because what's going on there? Okay, I think we need to take, it's probably this rubbing against a seed, and if it is, it might mean that it's yeah, you don't want it rubbing against some seeds or trapping any seed in here, so that you start to get the oil. Just having a look at my gloves to see. Yeah, it just needed to come out. I'm quite pleased with how much I've done so far. Excellent. Yeah, it was just getting a bit, yeah, it was a seed. Oh, just as well it didn't, okay, so every now and again it's probably worthwhile to check that you don't have any seeds trapped in there. Yeah, it was just pressing a bit too hard on there. So sometimes what I do is, well, when you're doing kind of repetitive jobs like this that have to be done, I don't know, what do you do? I mean, I normally just listen to go on YouTube and listen. So just take your time, especially with your machine, because you want it to last. I don't want to go back to picking the seeds with my hands. You just do it gently, and so when you do a line, make sure you release the cotton. See? It just comes out like that. Put this under there. This one's really wrapped up. In that corner, it's really wrapped up. There we go. And if I go the opposite way, comes out in one piece. Remove these seeds there. So get a little production line going. Just doing both directions. I love seeing it all go through, it's so cool. And seeing it come off. And this is how, when it's done on an industrial scale, it goes through a machine that does that. It just takes off the fibres and puts them in a separate area. Now, I hate throwing away seeds, so what I'll probably do is pop these out in an area that I've got parts of the garden that I wouldn't mind having more of a hedge, and as I said before, you can cut, if you cut them, if you keep the plant well trimmed, then the cotton, it doesn't flower and it doesn't turn into, let's take this from the bottom, it doesn't turn into, you don't get any cotton from it unless you leave it. So you could, because I don't like throwing away seeds, see, I would prefer to keep the plant, I'll prefer to keep the plant to cut it back and not see it flower, than to see it flower and have all these seeds that I can't do anything with, because it just feels like a waste to me. So I'd rather cut back the plant, keep it low, and do the chop and drop. For those of you who are not into gardening, chop and drop is where you just drop, literally you're dropping the what you've cut from the plant around the plant. So you're nourishing the soil with the bits that you've cut from the plant, and it goes back into the soil. So just like you would maybe, you know, apply compost, or but it stops the, especially in the warmer climates, it stops the soil from drying out. And you know, where we get the so all I'm doing here is just picking out the bits that I really don't want to go through, and then it just means that I can just pick it up, put it in, and save myself from, see, like even that bit, it's got a kind of horrible looking bit at the back, so it's just like, you don't have to deal with that, you know, that can go back into the ground. And oh, the other thing that happens is that the birds, so when I leave some of the cotton, it's what they did the last time. I picked all this cotton and then I left it out to dry, because what had happened is it got rained on. It rained, then I picked the cotton, and then it was just like, I didn't, I mean, you still are, I mean, what I've seen is that it's usually left out of the elements because it starts to, if you let it get wet, constantly wet, once you've picked it, it starts to rot, and the seeds, it starts to go green with fungus or whatever it is, and so you don't want that, because then that changes the cotton. It will affect the quality of the cotton. So so it rained on, there was some green bits in it, and some the bugs that would have normally, like the moths that you would have normally got rid of if you'd done it quick. So that's one reason why. The other one that I've got sitting there in a bag, I need to get sorted. But the birds started to take it and use it in their nests, and it wasn't until there was one of the nests fell down, and it was filled with cotton. I was just like, oh, that's so cute. So at least it didn't go to waste, you know. It's just like the birds have found a use for it, and it's great for them, you know, because it provides warmth for the chicks, and it holds quite well, the fibre holds well together, so it provides a secure nest. I'm not saying that without the cotton it wouldn't be secure, but it just provides, you know, you just think, oh, it must be so comfortable, must be so much more comfortable with the having a nest with cotton than not. So I don't collect all of the cotton that comes off. I leave some for the birds, and you know, anybody else, any other, usually for the birds, just for the birds, because I was thinking any other critter, and it's just like, any other critter, you don't want any other critter in the garden. You're gonna have, you know, mice around. See, there's a bit there that I didn't notice. That looks disgusting. Okay, look at all that we've done. And then this is all I've got left. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you carding the cotton. Okay, So, I hope you found that interesting. Find yourself if you do get yourself a cotton plant, I think everybody should have one, or a few. You'll find that you'll start to have a few if you, depending on how you keep your plant. If you allow the cotton to form and then you do nothing with it, and then you've just got loads of seeds, then you'll probably end up with loads more plants. And you can also grow, you don't have to grow the cotton from the seeds, the cotton plant from seeds. You can, if you know somebody with a cotton plant, you can take a hardwood cutting and pop that in the ground, and it will grow. I've done that. I made some cuttings, and it's good for the arms as well. Yes, I had some cuttings, and I was trying to build. I was doing it was my version of a hugelkultur bed, but I had put the it's like with sticks, and I put the sticks into the ground, thinking, yeah, this will hold the soil in because I'm on a slope, and they started growing, because basically all I placed the sticks in there to keep, like, you know, to raise the level and to keep the everything in. And when I mulched, or when I, you know, did chop and drop again, it would, like, you know, keep the level. But they started growing, and I was just like, what's going on? It's just like, that's not where I particularly wanted it growing, but actually that wasn't such a bad idea, because if I just keep it, you know, be like a living border, a living which, oh, this is a bit. Ooh, that's a big bit. I'm so pleased that I made the effort with that, and because I was thinking, oh gosh, I don't want to have to pick out these things by hand, but I'm going to have to pick out the seeds by hand. And then I was just like, no, you've got the pasta machine, why don't you use that? Oh, but I don't want a load of oil. And it was just like, well, just try it. And then I tried it. And seeds. Yeah. I tried it and I liked it. Oh, I just realised. Anyway, so here we are. Look at this. So this is all of the cotton that I've just de-seeded or ginned, and it's amazing. Sea Island cotton is absolutely an amazing cotton, and it comes out silky smooth. But I'm going to show you when we get down to the all I'm doing at the moment is just looking for any bits that I missed, that it's just like, well, you know, that's not part of the cotton, that's, you know, that's just part of the plant that kind of got on there. And so this bit makes it feels really good, because, you know, you're that much closer to, I can even take my gloves off now. Sweaty Betty gloves. I've got Sweaty Betty gloves. They leave your hands really sweaty. So, yeah, it's not as soft. Well, it's soft, but it's going to get even softer when we card it. And it's quite amazing. And it's got a, yeah, it's got a, you can make your own cotton buds and things like that. So when you think of cotton buds or, you know, cotton wool balls or, okay. Anyway, so thank you for watching so far. I look forward to sharing with you the next video where I card it and make the skeins. I really do have to check that word, skeins. And eventually we're going to be creating either cotton for crocheting, because I crochet as well. I'll probably show you 3 different ways in which I will use it, and that's either to crochet with it, to weave with it, or to use it in a mixed media project where I'll be dyeing the cotton and using it with some of my sculptures. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Please do remember to like and subscribe to the channel. There's so many more different things and experiments and lovely creative things that I'll be doing, not only with the cotton, because this isn't really my area, but I'm just playing, and I've been learning a lot about how we can utilize the cotton, and the fact that Sea Island cotton is one of the best known cottons in the world. Then, you know, I can't just sit by and leave it in the garden to go to waste. So yeah, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you again. Take care.